Hello everyone! I am Tacet, and today I'm going to be going over the Snow Buddy Loves Me event, in which the Snow Guardian and Frostling are added to Gems of War. So let's go and see those two troops. We'll start off first with the Frostling. Frostling can place a freeze and a web on an enemy. The freeze prevents them from getting extra turns, and the web prevents them from using any of their magic, both until it is cleansed off. And if there are 13 or more blue on the board, it will gain half that mana back. One thing to note about this troop is it does not use any of its magic for anything. As you can see, on its leveling, it doesn't gain any magic. It is an elemental beast. It will gain 4 of that mana back if it is 13 or more blue. As you can see, 8, half of that would be 4. And it has some very, very good traits for a common. It has both Stalker and Shatter, which does twice as much damage when it is against a webbed enemy, and as well as if it's a frozen. So if you can first slot freeze and web them with the ability, and then attack them, you would then be doing 4 times damage. And if you can get something like a Winter Wolf, which can place Hunter's Mark and freeze, that Hunter's Mark will then make it an 8 times damage. Not 2 times, 2 times, 2 times for 6 times, but it would actually multiply that again and make it a 8 times. It would then do the 2 and 2, which is 4, and then would multiply that into 8, and that's why it actually does 8 times damage. So it does have a relatively low attack, as you can see through its leveling, but that's mainly because it can potentially do 8 times as much damage, which is absolutely insane. But regularly you'd only be doing 4 times with it, which is still some really, really good value from a common. Anyways, let's go over to the next one now, and that is the Snow Guardian. One thing to note about the Snow Guardian this week is it does have a 25% extra stat bonus. Because it is a Fae, there's 25% to Faes and to defending fields this week. But it deals damage to an enemy boosted by frozen enemies. It then freezes that enemy, and if it dies, it then creates 10 blues. 10 is enough that it will likely gain an extra turn, almost always, from the 10 blues that's going to be doing, especially if you had something like a Valkyrie or something else that creates blues on the team. It has immunity to frozen and gains quite a bit of magic. It gains magic from every single blue on the team, as well as magic from whenever an ally casts a spell, which is going to help a lot in being able to get those kills, which will then be able to spawn 10 blue, and then you can just keep looping off of that. So a fairly good troop to be able to use, and you definitely want to get this one this week, as you will be able to get in PvP whenever you use it and win twice as many traitstones. So let's actually go into some teams with them. We will be using these two teams, both of which are very, very, very skull oriented. One thing to note is over at this event tabs, there are a lot of this material that we will be able to get this week. And if you notice, particularly on the values of them, they ended up reducing them compared to last week. Last week it was 250, 500, 1000 for the higher 3, but they have been reduced. I think this is a permanent reduce, if I am not mistaken, which is going to be absolutely wonderful, because that means it'll be a lot easier to actually obtain some of these higher rewards. As far as Caesarion this week, he is actually one of the worst epics currently in the entire game, so you don't really need him. But of course, all the other prizes like the gems and keys will definitely be useful. As far as other events, as I mentioned, Snow Guardian winning in PvP this week will give you twice as many stones. It will not give you 2 different stones. It will give you 2 of the exact same stone that you end up winning. So it'll just double whatever the one trait stone is that you won. And there's also a 25% stat bonus to Ragnagord and all Fae troops. Currently, the only troop getting a 50% bonus is Orion, which I'll probably show teams for later in the week. So let's go now into these teams. So let's go over now to PvP, just go to 3 trophy, and let's start with the Frozen Snowman. We're going to be using this, of course, with the Valkyrie Justice Queen Mab combo. There are so many things that can work for a slot with this team, and this is just one of them. And of course, since we get twice as many traitstones this week with it, it is definitely a good choice. Even off of this week, it would probably still be a decent choice, as it does have that chance of getting those extra blues on the board. It also has Arcane, which you'll be able to loop pretty well with the fact that you also have Arcane on Queen Mab. Every single time you keep using Valkyrie and Justice, you'll just be getting more and more. And as you can see, he also is insulated, so when we hit the Frozen Souls freeze right there, we didn't even get frozen. So we don't even need to worry about getting frozen on our skull spam as well. So let's just take our yellows. Our yellows are the main things we want to be getting. Yellows and reds, as we do want to make sure we get our Valkyrie up as quickly as possible. especially to make sure none of them can get their cast off. Unfortunately, there's not a follow-up that we'll be able to do, so we'll just go for some of his mana. Going for brown instead, mainly because I want to make sure we do block this Bone Dragon. Though, maybe I should be blocking the Famine, because that Famine's getting pretty close as well. Though there's no color that we can take in that regard, so I guess we'll just have to keep taking the brown. We have the Snowball up, but that's not really going to be able to help us unless we can get some damage off on another troop here. So he'll get another poke on us, but we can finally get the yellows we need, and now we can hopefully start looping off of somewheres on the board. Right now, it looked like it was going to be purple. Well, it can still do purple now, but we won't get as much mana as we would have the turn before. But we'll get that 4 pair, 3 and a 3, so that should give us a decent amount and hopefully get our Justice rolling. We can take that skull right there. I think I'm going to leave it just to increase our chance of an extra turn. So we'll do that, and we do get an extra turn off of something, and another extra turn, so that ends up working out decently. We can throw the Snowball if we want, whenever we have enough damage to kill. As you can see, he has 2 frozen enemies, so 32 plus 8, that'd be 40 damage. We are a little bit low right now, so we will not be able to kill it. We'll just throw our Justice again, keep going with that. We'll get that skull out, and a double skull actually, and that will definitely kill him out. We'll just take these, keep using Justice, keep using everything we have. If this skull doesn't kill, we can easily just do it with the... Oh, nope, it does. We could have easily done it with the Snowball and gotten it out that way. Unfortunately, we won't be able to poke him down. Something else that we could do with this team is use Queen Mab and then use the Snowball. And that combination can normally get a kill as well. Unfortunately, we do not have the kind of damage to do that, but I guess we'll poke it for now. Let's see. I'll bring him down to 57. That's nowhere near a one-shot, though. So we will just end it with this skull, and that would be the end of him. And as you can notice right here, on our victory screen, we'll get all of our normal rewards, as well as the event gem from killing either a dragon or a monster this week. All gives event gems. We got one from killing the Bone Dragon. So if you look at the trait stone right here, it'll be 2 times runic. All it does is just give you 2 of whatever one you get. So we just got 2 red runics from being able to do from winning a PvP battle with our guardian there. So that works out pretty nice. And as you can see, as I was saying, we get an event gem from all monsters, and we get an event gem from all dragons, which is why both of them have that next to them. So next up, we're going to be going with our shatter shot with our Frostlink. The general premise, what we're going to be doing here is trying to go for an easy kill on the Great Maul, and then we'll be able to go through Bone Dragon, just kind of go through the thing. Because Bone Dragon will slow us some, because unlike our previous match, we do not have insulated on our first troop. So that will stop us, but we can easily take out the first 2 troops without really having to worry about that. So right off the bat, same thing we did previous match. We do want to focus on taking our yellows, get our Valkyrie up. Valkyrie is very important with getting blue troops up like this. And his Mercy looks like he's playing for us. We'll take that for free. Thank you, Mercy. And we'll probably convert out brown, it looks like. So we'll do just that. Get our browns. We'll be able to get that Frostling off. Fortunately, he doesn't actually use any magic, so we're not going to be able to utilize it in that regard. But what we can do is use Queen Jezebel, use it to web, and then the next skull we take will definitely indeed kill it. So we'll do that. Put the freeze and web on it, neither of which will really do too much, but they will definitely help in securing our one-shot kill. So hopefully he takes something next turn that will allow us to take a skull. If he does, he is definitely going to die. We are going to be doing 4 times that, which is 128 damage whenever we take a skull next. So that's going to be very, very strong. We'll convert out these browns once again, mainly just making sure his Bone Dragon and everything else doesn't have any chance of getting up. And well, there is the overkill. I might as well just take the 4 times, leave those 2 there in case we get another skull that we might need for them. So like right here, now because I left that skull there, we'll have a chance of getting a skull right there as well. So we'll do that. And nope, almost. Pretty close, but not exactly where we needed it. So right here, one bad thing about this Frostlink compared to something like a Winter Wolf or something is it can't automatically gain an extra turn from anything. So we have to waste our turn putting this freeze web on them, and then we have to do something, which isn't too big a deal in some cases. But of course, losing a turn is never good when you can use something like a Winter Wolf, which would make sure you wouldn't lose a turn. But as you can see, we can just follow it up with a Valkyrie afterwards, and then just go with the skull, and then boom, absolutely destroyed with the double 2-time skulls. And if you wanted to, you could replace out something like Queen Jezebel with a Winter Wolf, and then you could go for 8 times damage. Though 8 times damage, or at least this late in the game, is definitely overkill. 4 times is enough pretty much to kill most everything, unless they have stone skin or granite skin would be the only exception to that. So right here, I'll kind of just wait until he messes up on the board. I think we'll just go and freeze web. The web isn't really going to be doing much to any of these. Web does, of course, reduce their magic down to 0. As you can see, he gains 0 armor because he has 0 magic for the duration of the web. He also can't gain magic if he had something that could actually boost up magic, but we'll just kill him out with the 4 times damage right there. And that's pretty much match. We can just get a bone dragon up or something like that, and there we go. Perfect. The board even gives it right to us. It knows we already won. And then we just do that, and that is match. Oh no, it lived. Oh, well, it's still our turn, so we can just take any of these skulls. I don't know why I'm thinking about it. We can just take literally anything there and it'll die. And we go for the triple. So extremely overkill. But yeah, those are the 2 new troops this week. Things you definitely want to do. You definitely want to get at least 50 of these dragon monster kills, just so you will be able to get all those gems and everything from the rewards. You don't really need Saurian that much, and you also want to make sure you get the Snow Guardian and try making some kind of team with it. Things with Valkyrie, things with just the whole Glacial Peaks team are all very, very effective. And before we close out, one other thing you do want to note about this week are event keys. Event keys are very, 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 very good this week because you'll be able to get either Borealis or Queen Mab, both of which are very, very strong and can freeze enemies like crazy. Borealis actually got a buff this week too. He now does a little bit more damage than what he used to, and you'll be able to use him earlier on in the game, or pretty much any time, with a Justice, because he can freeze all enemies, the Borealis. And you can just follow that up with a bunch of Justice cast with some kind of Valkyrie, and it would go pretty good. And of course, Queen Mab is a lot more effective if you can get her fully traded, but even non-fully traded, she has some pretty high damage output. Anyways, that'll wrap it up for today. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful day.